Research has shown that just before COVID, there were about 8 million Kenyans on the micro, small, and medium enterprises. This had a value ticket slightly above 3 trillion Kenya shillings, and they employed about 15 million Kenyans. That is a contribution of about 30% of Kenya's GDP. This is DM Tanki on Business and Money, your authoritative wealth companion. Welcome to the show.
Business and money, we are all about your business. Business and money, weka pesa mfukoni, ukitaka kumake dough and financial freedom, ukitaka mawaidha, biashara inawiri. This is business and money.
You've often heard that 80% of businesses never live to celebrate their 5th anniversary. Nobody ever tells you what exactly happens to these 80%. Do they close completely and go home? Do they repackage and restart new businesses? Or they go out and look for jobs?
Research has shown that about 400,000 businesses in Kenya die annually, with 90% of them not celebrating their 2nd anniversary. This is a huge and very material number.
What is the reason for such a huge failure rate? And what are those that are surviving doing that is so different? This is how we come in. Business and Money is a program that will be able to help you, walk you through what it takes to be able to build a lasting and sustainable business in order for you to get the wealth that you have so desired. We comb through data, we search through information, we look at researched work that is done by us and done by other people to package for you so that you can get what it will take you to succeed in business.
We talk to 3 successful business owners to find what extraordinary thing they do which may help save the 400,000 businesses that collapse yearly. And again, we also talk to subject matter experts in order to build on their wisdom and years of study, because we know success in business is our collective success as a country and as a continent.
I want to mention 3 aspects of business that link directly to preparation in terms of starting a business.
Kenyans do all kinds of businesses. We want to sample a few of them to just have a feel of the kind of challenges that they go through. Before we interview some to establish the role foundations play in averting business failure.
Mimi ni mkaaji hapa wa Ithaka na ninafanya hii biashara na nimefanya kwa muda mrefu sana.
Biashara yangu ni ya kuuza maziwa. Kwa hii biashara nimefanya kwa miaka 5.
Na ninauza vitu za plumbing, marangi, vitu zote za hardware.
Na hii kazi yangu ya mandazi imenisaidia sana kwa sababu ndio inafanya nikue huku, na inanisaidia kwa sababu baada niko na watoto, inanisaidia kulinda, hata ndio huwa natumia kulipa nayo rent.
Nimesaidia jamii, nasaidia watoto kuwasomesha.
Uzuri wa hii biashara iko na vitu zenye haziwezi oza.
Changamoto yenye napata hapa, ujue hapa nyuma kulikuwa dirist, lakini sasa hii najua mafuta ndio hiyo imeenda kabisa.
Changamoto hii biashara ni wale wanakopa, hawalipi, wengine wanakopa hivi wanatoroka.
Maguo si lazima tuuze leo. Kuna siku unaweza uza leo ama ukose kuuza. Na kuna siku unaweza fungua na uuze kabisa.
Bei zikiongezeka zinani affect. Juu sasa customer hawezi kubali, anakwambia nilinunua jana.
Pango yenye niko nayo ni nitafute motorbike nyingine niongeze na wafanya kazi, ndio kazi inuke.
Biashara nataka kupanua, ninunue ATM.
There you have it. Kenyans go through a lot of challenges, including what the guy said, that they sell things on credit, but people never come back to pay. Now, we want to go and talk to guys that are already in business to just establish the role or how much preparation they did before they jumped into the business. Let's meet our guests for today.
Holy Land Excursions, Tours and Travels has been in business for the last 13 years. Located in Nairobi with a total of 3 staff members, the business operates majorly on pilgrimage to Israel, safari packages, both locally and internationally, and also visa acquisition for the travelers. CEO of this enterprise has seen it grow to achieve a turnover of between 25 to 50 million Kenya shillings per year. And all this with a wealth of knowledge, experience, and network around the globe.
Shalom, my name is Francis Gitao, CEO of Holy Land Excursions, Tours and Travel.
The Africa Center for Public Speaking, located at Luther Plaza, has 2 full-time staff and 4 part-time coaches who for the last 4 years have been specializing in leadership development, public speaking, and mentality change coaching. With notable achievements of coaching over 2,000 professionals over the years, including senators, members of parliament, MCAs, businessmen, and women, the CEO is not only the CEO, but also the author of 2 books dubbed Public Speaking from the Heart and Eradicating a Poverty Mentality. All this in the mission of working towards the growth and success of this enterprise.
Hi, my name is Dan Mugera, the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Public Speaking.
Fanisi Industries is a local family cottage that has been in existence for the last 2 years. Their mission is providing quality cleaning, hygiene, and personal care solutions that leave the customers in awe. Located in Kiambu County in Kabete, the industry manufactures hand sanitizers, antibacterial hand washes, and multi-purpose liquid detergents, which played a huge role especially during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. Fanisi has been able to provide a safe environment for the community and offer employment at a very challenging economic time.
Bonjour, my name is Joshua Waringo, founder and CEO of Fanisi Industries, and you're watching Business and Money.
And you're watching Business and Money.
And you're watching Business and Money.
Business and money.
This looks like a very sumptuous order that you placed.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
As you've seen, our guests are already here. But before we get into the discussion, let's take a short commercial break. Don't go away.
Business and money.
Welcome back to the show. And just in case you are joining us, this is Business and Money. And with me is Francis Gitao, who specializes in taking people to Israel. And then on the far end is Dan Mugera, who is a business coach, a consultant, and a trainer. We have Joshua Waringo, who is the CEO of Fanisi Industries. Karibuni sana. So Francis,
Yes,
tell us, what actually led you to start the business?
I was actually trained in tourism management. That is what I studied at the university.
Okay.
Then immediately after the campus, I got an opportunity to go to Israel. Yeah, so I went to Israel for 5 years. And there I was able to work on the ground. Then when I came back after the 5 years, I thought, what can I do? Because my tenure was over on the other side. So I decided this is the natural thing for me to do.
Okay.
Just take people to Israel. You have been there. You have seen how the land is. Take them there and then let them experience the land of the Bible.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah. That's how I began.
That's good. And it's going well, eh? I presume?
It has been well.
Yeah.
Except now the bump of COVID.
Yeah. No, COVID has affected everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe Mugera is doing better in his consultancy. How did you get to begin the consultancy service?
Our flagship program at the Africa Center for Public Speaking is public speaking training and coaching. Of course, this is a leadership program because it is said that majority of the best thinkers are not leaders. Why? Because they cannot communicate.
Okay.
And so we felt there was a gap. The people depended so much on the reading from manuscript when they're doing presentation. But think about it. That's not how Africans used to communicate. Our great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers, imagine them under a tree discussing business or discussing the community issues, they will just pick a saying here and a parable and a story and connect it and share their message. So we felt there is a need for people to develop effectiveness without losing their Africanness, to communicate their message in a better way.
And in the process, a whole business is born?
A whole business.
And you are doing how many years now?
We are doing from 2014, so we are looking at now around 7 years.
That's good.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Joshua, you have a very interesting line of business. How did you get to even imagine that you can do detergents?
Yes, that's quite interesting. My business started in an interesting way. It was an offspring of the COVID situation.
Okay.
So here we have the lockdown and people at home. You can't go out, you can't do anything. And I'm naturally a workaholic. I can't stay in the house and do nothing.
Yeah.
If I stay in the house, I get a headache. So I thought about this situation and say, hey, this is an opportunity. We are being called to use sanitizers and wash hands and keep clean.
Yeah.
I've been in that field for almost all of my adult life.
Okay.
I studied industrial chemistry.
At the university?
At the university.
Okay.
And I've worked for manufacturing firms, production, product design, process control, the procurement aspect of it, including global sourcing for quite a number of companies that are well known locally. So I saw this as an opportunity to do something that will help the community, myself and the family. And that's how Fanisi was born.
Amazing. You did industrial chemistry?
Yes.
Wow. So the whole periodic table is in your head.
I wouldn't say so.
Those are things that we traded when we were in school.
Actually, the theory part of it is quite not very interesting for me.
Yeah.
But when you now apply it to modern life, everyday life, then it just becomes very interesting.
Interesting. We are basically looking at the role foundations play, and I would imagine that you never just jumped into the business because you went to Israel. Was there a time when you prepared, and if you did, what kind of preparation? What did you consider? What are the things that you did?
Immediately after coming back, it actually took like I took 6 months before starting anything. And because I wanted to understand the Kenyan market, what do people want, what kind of tours do they want to have. So I did my groundwork, an assessment. And I saw there was a need, yes. Then I also wanted to understand those who are doing it, how are they doing it?
Because there were people already in the market.
There were people already in the market, big players. So I wanted to understand what are they doing. Then after doing the groundwork, I looked at what is my advantage. My advantage was I've been there. And some of them just visit and come back. So I knew that I know the land more than most of the agents. So that gave me the courage to step out and give unique products.
Interesting. So at least you saw there was an advantage, there was an area where you had more competence beyond what other people had. Very interesting. Dan, there are more than 500 consultants in this nation of Kenya.
Yes.
Why did you jump in? Why did you just get other people to do what you saw?
I think there was a need for a peculiar way of approaching the whole aspect of leadership. Most people, they teach theories when it comes to leadership. But you and me knows that practicals of leadership are way different from the theories people learn in class. The need to give people practical, hands-on leadership skills, including communication strategy, was very necessary during that time. I remember we are in Africa. So most of these things that we have learned in class, they are more Western related. We have our own atmosphere here.
Okay.
And our own mentality that we have been brought up with. How do you merge the two and create a synergy that will enable somebody to come out effectively to communicate their message? That was the gap that I saw.
But how much did you prepare? You saw it. How did you see it?
Okay. First, I did an observation.
Yeah.
And a small research to just check on the target market. If we're going to do this business, who will be the target market? What will we charge, and how many people are willing to pay to be trained on practical hands-on skills, including communication skills for their business and even or politics, or some are members of the clergy who to do this. Another thing that was very important is how well developed am I? Do I have the skills that it takes to move somebody from just being an amateur or at ground zero in terms of communication skills? Maybe they're battling with their own phobias to a certain level. So that forced me to go back to school. One was to study psychology, because I knew people will be coming and some of them have issues beyond just normal habitual things. They could be battling with anxiety disorders and different phobias or different things. And some needed a counseling approach apart from the coaching approach. But I also had to go back to school to be certified as a coach, as a speaker. Yes, I had the skill, but then I had to develop it so that most people will ask you, professionals in this country, okay, so who coached you? Where were you trained?
So
and
basically what you did is that you studied the market.
Yes.
You saw there were certain gaps which are there.
Yes.
Not only in the market, but also in you.
Yes.
And that is what led you to go back to school.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Joshua, how much preparation did you do for Fanisi Industries?
I did quite a bit of preparation. Most of my life, I can say, has been a preparation. Through the school, through the places I've worked, learning the business, learning the chemicals. So that was part of the preparation.
Yeah.
And it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time.
Yes.
But the trigger to start it off, I think that is what was not there.
Okay.
So I also went to school and got an MBA. Just to learn about business.
Was that part of the preparation, or it found you along the way?
It was part of the preparation, and also just to have the professional qualifications in the marketplace.
Okay.
And there was a time we did a survey with my wife. We went out to the market, see how it is in terms of some of these products.
Okay.
And it looked very positive, but I was kind of hesitant to step out.
Yeah.
But all that preparation was there. But now when COVID happened, that was the trigger.
Okay.
Because there was a sudden need for cleaning and hygiene. And we could step out and supply some of these products that are required.
Okay. Francis, do you sometimes look back and say, I wish I was more prepared. Maybe if I was, I would have been at a point of advantage and I could possibly get a lot more business.
Yeah, there are definitely.
Okay.
And one of them is, when you go to school, there's a lot of theory. But when you come out, there's what is called the life class, the school of life.
Yeah. So
in business, I realized that one of the things that I look back and I say I lacked is a mentor. I didn't have somebody to hold my hands so that I cannot bump into so many holes. So that is one area that I feel that if I began with a mentor, I'll be far more than I am today. So that is one. Then also the knowledge about how to run a business.
Okay.
So that you begin with the knowledge. If you had the knowledge about how to run a business at the beginning, you will go far than when you get it midway.
As we've said, almost 400,000 businesses close in Kenya every year. And that's huge. And I think part of the reason is because we are ill prepared.
Yes.
We get in and we don't have a lot of information. We don't have a lot of skills. We don't have the knowledge that needs to be done. So you have taken yourself back to school or what? Do you have a coach now?
Yeah, now I have a business mentor.
Okay.
I have enrolled in several courses.
That's good.
How to run a business.
Okay.
So that I'm not trying.
Yeah.
I'm doing it the way it is supposed to be done.
Of course, everybody aspires for greatness.
Okay.
They aspire to develop. But as much as there are gaps here and there, you and me know that business is a learning process. No matter how well prepared you are, when you jump into the waters of business, definitely you will find strange things.
Yeah.
And you will always realize that there's something that you can always do better. Especially in our industry, the niche that I'm in, you realize it's not, it wasn't well embraced at the beginning. Not many people embrace personal development in this side of the world. So we had to look to the West, because in the West, it's a big industry. And I'm very thankful for my mentor, that's John Maxwell, and the faculty of the John Maxwell team that endeavors to really develop us to understand this industry and how to package ourselves very well. But of course, we had to contextualize it to African needs, because the needs are not the same. When we talk about leadership, it looks like it's the same, but you will find the approach here is a bit different. When it comes to mentality change or even communication, it's the same. There's a standard all over the world, but again, what do our people need? So those are some of the things that I have to learn slowly by slowly.
Okay.
But also the gap of skepticism and how to overcome it and convince people that you need this thing, even though we are in Africa.
That's very interesting. You know, somebody looking at this show is wondering, I didn't have a lot of preparation myself, or they are not very sure of how much preparation they did. And certainly you are sitting down and thinking, I didn't spend 6 months like Francis to study the market before I jumped in, or I didn't do, a lifelong adult, you said almost for your entire adulthood. Yes, you are in the same sector. There are so many Kenyans who are looking at us today and saying, yeah, maybe I'm suffering because I didn't do a lot of preparation. Is there a way that I can jump in, maybe 3 years into the business or 4 years into the business? Can there be something that can be done?
It's important for one to do like a kind of a gap analysis and see what we could be lacking. Let me say we, because we are all businessmen, what we could be lacking and what we need to do to fill that gap. So just like Francis said, he got a mentor.
Yeah.
So that was a gap that was there. Some of us may need to go back to school to understand the financial aspects. Because you find that most of entrepreneurs who are doing startups, you find you're doing everything.
Okay.
You are the business owner, you are the transport manager, you are the accountant, you are the purchasing guy, you're the sales guy, all in one. And some of those are not our strengths.
Okay.
So a gap analysis would be something that can work.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there something you want to add? I'm sure as a consultant, maybe you are saying.
Yes.
There is something I can add.
And there are things that he has spoken about that at the beginning you have no option but to try your best, because you don't have the capacity sometimes to pay other people.
But you see, the challenge is, I am 5 years into business. I am going through challenges. Now listening to this conversation, somebody is saying, I didn't do that preparation.
Okay.
Is there something they can do along the way? They never did 5 years ago.
Yes.
Can they do something now?
Yes, they can.
Tell us.
There's always something that you can learn. You can get a coach to help you identify the gaps.
Okay.
You can do an analysis of your business and how it's been doing, and begin to assess exactly where are the gaps and areas that you can be able to improve.
Okay.
Sometimes it could even be a small thing as delegation, where you end up doing everything, yet you have the capacity to delegate a lot of other things so that you can be able to capitalize on areas of your strength. And that could mean then you are able to do the 20% that will bring you 80% of the results.
Okay.
But most people don't know that, so they end up doing the 80%. And what happens? They get only 20% of the results.
Okay. Maybe Francis has some...
Yes, I would also want to add. Because you're already in, if somebody is already in business, you need to develop business partners who you can work with.
Okay.
People who are in business, because sometimes the challenges we are facing, the solution is with the next person maybe you are talking to. So once you have people in business and you have forums, you can join forums where business people have a conversation. You are able to identify the strengths and the weaknesses in your own business, which you can improve through the conversation that you are getting from the other people.
You know, listening to you, I'm reminded there's this guy called Andrew Grove, the Intel chairman. He said, and there is a book that is written, only the paranoid survive. So that whether your business is 2 years old or 5 years old or 10 years old, that continuous preparation and that continuous sharpening of the skills or sharpening the axe must continue happening. Yeah, this is interesting. It looks like then we are getting it wrong a lot of times, and people getting into business don't do much preparation, only to suffer 1 year down the line or 2 years down the line. And no wonder the huge number of business failures. As they say, 80% of the people don't live to celebrate their 5th anniversary. And I think these are the things that contributes to those. Do you have anything else that you can tell us that summarizes, you know, the need for preparation in business?
It's never too late to learn.
Okay.
We are always learning, and even if we made mistakes in the past, it's never too late. And sometimes there's a flip side of it where we overanalyze, we overthink a situation before we make the move.
Okay. We over-prepare.
We over-prepare, yes. And by the time you say go, the opportunity has passed. So it's a balance act where you see one interesting thing I saw in the sanitizer situation. If you would go to downtown in 2020, you'd find the hawkers selling sanitizers.
Yeah.
They don't know even how it's made. So, but they have seen the opportunity.
Yeah.
And they are competing with someone who is learned
to
make the sanitizer.
Who is in the office analyzing? Okay.
So it's just something to encourage people that sometimes we overanalyze. In that time, then we end up losing them.
Okay.
It's called the paralysis of analysis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paralysis of analysis. You end up analyzing too much until you don't.
You can't paralyze. You can't move.
Any closing remarks?
It's very important for you in your preparation to think about registering your business and making sure that you have all the necessary papers or permits. You don't want to start a business and then this authority has come over and they are on you and you are stranded. So sometimes people don't think this is very important, but I emphasize this is very, very important.
It's amazing that you brought that up, Dan. Out of the 7.25, almost 8 million businesses in Kenya, can you imagine that only 1.5 million are actually registered?
Wow.
The rest are not. So it means a lot of our businesses, actually 90% of our businesses are at the micro level with a good population of those not even registered. So what you are saying is very pertinent, and I think somebody looking at watching the show should appreciate the need for registration, the need for licensing, the need for doing it formally, because this is where you will be for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So it is imperative that you do the right thing from the onset.
I would encourage every business person, do not just copy and paste. I might see Fanisi Industries is doing well, and then I want to copy that in my neighborhood without understanding the background. So it's good to know the need. You do a need assessment, because every business must respond to the need of the people.
Yeah.
Once you respond to the need, you will grow. But if I copy and paste, I might be bringing a product or a service that is not needed in my neighborhood.
And we seem to have that problem in this country.
Yes.
There is a big problem. There's a big problem.
Many people,
Yeah.
they see Tanki is doing this, financial advisory services, then I also want to do that because I heard there is money.
Very, very sad. Very sad indeed, and that is what happens a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining. By the way, are you still taking people to Israel?
Yeah, we are doing.
Okay.
Like this year, we have a trip in November.
Okay.
Yeah, so people can get in touch with us.
And only Israel? You don't go anywhere else?
We do every destination except hell.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, hell has no
Wow, 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 wow. You've heard it from these great business people, the amount of preparation that they did in order for their businesses to continue thriving, even as we are discussing now. We are taking a short break, but as we come back, we will meet a subject matter expert who will now give us the actual methodology or the to-do for you to be able to follow in order to succeed as well in the business that you are doing. See you after the break.
This is business and money.
Welcome back to Business and Money. We will now meet a subject matter expert on research to give us tips on good foundations for success in business.
With 23 years of experience in teaching and research, specializing in the field of environment, business, and economics, we get to interview Michael K. Bowen, who is a professor with a PhD in environmental economics and also a principal at Daystar University, the Nairobi campus.
Welcome to Business and Money, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Tanke.
How are you doing?
Doing very well.
Excellent.
Good to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Karibu
you.
sana.
Yeah.
Professor, research has shown that about 400,000 businesses collapse in this country every year. And that was before COVID came. Now, that is a huge number of businesses. And it is further said that 90% of them, they actually do so before they celebrate their second anniversary. What is the value of adequate preparation before jumping into anything?
So, Mr. Tanke, those are very sad statistics.
Very true. Yeah.
Because it represents loss in terms of money, loss in terms of self-esteem, loss in many ways, even in terms of emotional loss. I want to mention three aspects of business that link directly to preparation in terms of starting a business.
Okay.
The first one is identifying the problem within a community. The moment you identify a problem or a need within a community and you meet it, then you're in business. And if you look at the business that you interviewed that does touring, that takes people to Israel, you notice that they identify the need within the community, the need for Christians to do pilgrimage in Israel. And because of that, then he's in business. So that's the first aspect that I would like to mention about research.
Okay.
The second aspect about research is identifying a gap. And this has to do with information. And this is where research really is very critical, because this is where there are issues within the community that people require to discover, you know? Research is also about discovery.
Okay.
And one of them, like, there's a major research that we did a while back.
Okay.
Most of the business that were asked, the most important binding constraint, most of the businesses actually would say finance.
Yes.
Even in the 2000,
the early part of the
2000.
Yeah.
But by 2008, we did research that actually showed that financing was no longer number one as a constraint.
Interesting.
That competition was now the main and binding constraint among businesses.
Okay.
And this probably has to do with the nature of the way we do business in Kenya. I see Tanki start a quail business. I go into the quail business. So then competition becomes an issue. So lack of innovation and creativity
becomes an issue
in the way that businesses are started. And that becomes a challenge. But then the current situation, because of COVID, businesses are just at the survival stage. And they're coming out. And I think it is interesting and good to see that even you can look at some of the parameters in the economy, businesses seems to be coming up. And therefore, it is important that government provides finance at this stage because most businesses, their capital is used up during the COVID season. So it's important that channels for financing be done so that these businesses can actually be able to come back and thrive again. And I'm happy that your next episode is actually on financing. The last aspect that I want to mention about research is about the rigor of research. Sometimes business people say they have done research, and I had one of the businesses that you interviewed say they did observation. Now the danger with that is that you'll go to 2 or 3 companies, maybe they are like, and you make conclusions based on that. And you can easily go wrong if you don't do rigorous research. And rigorous research has to do with methodology. Do you have a representative sample? Do you have enough samples? And that is important, and we'd like to encourage business people to consult with experts in terms of the methodology so that you don't use information that will let you down. We call it evidence-based research. So that you make conclusions, concrete conclusions, that if you go into business, then you have the correct information.
What are these things that a business person should actually do?
There are a number of things that businesses need to look into. One is the number of, we call it industry concentration, the number of businesses within that particular industry. Things like the capital required is important. Business cycles. I did hear one of the gentlemen that you did interview, and during COVID, from being a consultant, he turned into manufacturing, was it sanitizers or soap?
Detergents.
The detergents. And so it's important to understand business cycles as well, and to anticipate the likely challenges that one is likely to find as they get into business. One other aspect that is very critical, human resource. And specifically, one of the key problems that have been identified, especially in Kenya and East Africa, probably Africa in general, is the element of service, quality service, quality, consistent service. Now, one of the things that a business has to look into is to look at the kind of human resource that they're hiring, but also look at ways of motivating them. The best way that has been found to motivate staff and employees or workers is making them own the business, a sense of ownership. So the other thing that they can do is to do a feasibility study. And I want to encourage businesses that research doesn't have to be expensive. What is required is to link up with academic institutions. At Daystar, for example, we have a full directorate of research. And it's not expensive.
Professor, you are saying that people can come to Daystar. You know, a normal mwananchi who is running a small business thinks that the university is far too fetched. How do they even come in? Who do they talk to? Who do they come to ask for?
Yes, we have a fully-fledged directorate of research, headed by a director, deputy director, and staff, well-staffed. And therefore, if somebody has a need, they're actually welcome to come. Our office is at Nairobi campus. And so if they come, they say they want to see the director of research, and their staff there, and then they're actually able to mention their need. And we can be able to package something for them that will suit their needs.
Beautiful. I think that is very useful, so that the individual watching and has a need actually knows that they can walk in, ask for the research department, and they can get help.
And they need to know that universities are not ivory towers. I know the universities have been said to be ivory. They are not. Like I said, the first time I started doing research personally, I went to a conference and I was the only one without a master's. And there were many professors. I was so surprised that they were so interested in what I was doing. I think we need to let the community know that university is accessible. And in fact, like I said, when I defined what research is, it's about looking at community problems and solving them. The other aspect that business people really need to look into is looking at business long term and anticipating low seasons.
So the changing dynamics of business
Yes.
in the different seasons of life.
Correct.
Yeah.
And immediately after I finished my college, I was employed by a company.
Okay.
There was a time we were booming. We were doing very well, a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we didn't save anything. So when there was a regime of exchange rates, it used to be fixed.
Okay.
When they were made to float,
Yeah.
we went under as a company. Yet we would have saved that time when we were booming. So it's important to anticipate some of this so that we do not have many businesses dying, like you said.
And is that done also through research?
That's really more of common sense.
Okay.
It's really more of common sense.
Yeah,
But of course, it's good to anticipate. Like COVID, for example, you would not have anticipated. So the idea is to make sure that when you are doing well, save some money for lean times.
Okay. So, Professor, you're saying that trends are actually very critical in business because if you miss it, you will end up being ill prepared for the season that is coming because you never anticipated it.
That is true, precisely, because if you don't anticipate, if you don't look around in terms of the environment, and the environment here, we talk about the international environment, because businesses are affected by local conditions, national conditions, and even international conditions. So it's important to do that. And there are models actually that can be used in terms of predicting trends. There are certain trends that are cyclical, and it is possible to predict them if you input the correct data into those models. But of course, there are certain models that you can't, like COVID. It would have been very difficult to predict. But so what businesses need to do is to anticipate such challenges. But there are those that can actually be predicted using research models.
Thank you very much, Professor Michael Bowen from Daystar University, for the great insights that you've given us. I'm actually reminded of a verse that says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first of all sit down and do an estimate of cost to establish that he has everything that it takes to make the tower a success? And business people are in the business of building towers. And now you've heard from the expert, you need to prepare. You need to have adequate information that can help you to be a success, because that is a missing link. Once you are prepared through adequate research, the next elephant in the house is actually how to get business financing. And that is what is coming up in our next episode, and you don't want to miss. If you want to get more information about the show, or if you want to build a thriving business, please contact us using the address that is given on the screen. This has been your host, DM Tanki, and you've been watching Business and Money. See you next time, and God bless you.
Thank you.